I think it's pretty dialed for learning rolls on this thing.
Oh yeah, see? See, Matt's all about it. Today, I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to do and perfect your rolls. One of the big things that I see people do is they don't get rid of their throttle when they go. So a good thing to practice is to jump up and then just to kill your throttle and to get an idea of what that bounce feels like when you let it go. Because when you do rolls, you don't want to have that throttle, especially if you're doing them through gaps. You got to have that throttle cut down so that when you do a roll, it's not going to throw you into something. So like, let's say I do a roll while my throttle's up, you're going to start pitching the direction that it's in as it's rolling. So it's good to practice getting rid of that throttle in an area that you want to do a roll. So like, let's say you wanted to do a roll through this piece right here. I would just first practice getting that little blip, getting rid of that throttle and getting through that first. That's the biggest part. Because if you don't have that timing right, then your roll is not going to make it through it correctly. So we're going through here, little throttle blip, boom. Go back around. I'd keep practicing too. You want to land it at least, 4 out of 5 times, getting through things. This little tree right here is kind of cool. So yeah, as you're approaching, you just want to make sure that your throttle's right. Get rid of the throttle and you get through it. Because as soon as you do a roll, you cut the throttle and then you apply the throttle as soon as the roll's finished. So you find your gap that you want, go through it, cut the throttle, put it back. And now if you haven't done any rolls before, I would recommend that you do them over grass because it's a lot softer to crash. If you were to practice it over concrete, your drone probably wouldn't make it out as much as if, like here, watch, I'll just fall right now. Cut the throttle, boom, fell, it's fine. Let's see if I even have crash flip on this thing. I don't, do I? Dang, that sucks. All right, thanks. My crash flip didn't work. Let me try again. I got the homie Matt with me. He's chilling. He's my crash flip today. I don't have it activated on this KISS drone. Silly me. So yeah, make sure you practice this stuff over grass. Get that throttle down and then throw that roll. Throttle down, throw the roll. And another big key when you're doing the rolls is you want to make sure that your snap ends flat when you let go. So you want to get used to that muscle memory of how fast the rotation is at max speeds, especially if you're doing them through gaps. So then you know automatically when you have to stop and you don't have to think about it. So I'd practice just making sure that you can stop it when it's flat and then apply the throttle. Making sure that when you do the roll, the throttle is down the whole time. Because if you were to have the throttle and do it, it doesn't feel right, it throws itself all around. And again, just please keep practicing over grass, high up. Don't do gaps right away. You might see people doing them through gaps and then it makes you want to do them. But it's best to stay in your own lane and not go too far ahead of yourself, because that's when you start breaking things and you start feeling down on yourself. You got to take it step by step and work your way up to it. So get in a grass field, try rolls, get that flat lock at the end of it, and just practice it over and over till you feel like it's absolutely dialed. And then maybe you'll find a bigger gap to practice it through. Don't start with those small gaps. It's gonna cause you a bad day. Work your way into it. Stay at a steady pace. Like here, we'll work our way into this big guy right here. Make sure we're low, and then you want to pop that throttle just a little bit, and then apply throttle as soon as it's finished. Another tip to help kind of practice finding that flat spot is to kind of slow down your roll at the last second, and then let it find that at that last bit, so you have a little more time to think before applying that throttle back up. So you'll snap, and then slow it down, and then apply. Instead of thinking, oh, I gotta stop there, oh, missed it. It'll kind of give you time to think about it and ease into it. And you can slowly apply throttle depending upon how fast you have to, if the ground's coming up quick. Like let's say you're really close to the ground and you do a roll, you really got to apply that snap real fast as soon as it's done or you're going to hit the ground. Versus if you're high up, you can throw it and then slowly ease into it, not have to worry. So obviously it matters upon what your situation around you is. And now what I like to do is my rolls sometimes is not necessarily slap that stick all the way over, but you want to do a slow roll. That's what I think is cool. And sometimes I'll have a little bit of throttle on it. It's cool to smooth them out and make them nice and big and open. Maybe you want to make sure that you stay straight. You can stay over like a concrete like sidewalk so that you know that you're going straight. You don't want to be pushing up or down. You want to make sure that you're all the way left with it or all the way right with it, because if you push a little forward, it's going to throw you off and not look as clean. Yeah, it's going to throw me way down.
All right, I think you're good with the rolls. Now let's hit the gap rolls, dude.
The gap rolls? All right, so there's ways to do it. You could first start yourself off with getting the roll after the gap, but in order to accomplish the actual roll through it, you want to start the roll before it. That's the legit way to do it. But a good way to practice is to line yourself up with the gap and then do it right after. So starting off, you'll line yourself up with the gap, you'll get through it, and then you'll do it real quick. That'll just kind of get you used to lining up that gap before the roll starts. So we'll line it up again. Make sure you cut that throttle just after, boom. Throw that throttle back up as soon as you're through. And then once you get comfy with that and you want to do it proper and you got that throttle management down, you'll pop it up, start it just before it, get right through it and throw that throttle back up as soon as you're through and you're not going to hit the ground. So when you go through it, cut that throttle so that your direction stays in the same path that it started. You're gonna go hit that gap and make sure you cut that throttle to make it through nice and clean. Oop. Dodge that tree real quick. Then once you feel comfy, you can hit it with all kinds of gaps. Start slow, nice and easy, get it low. Practice that throttle discipline. Here we'll go, oops. Whoa, what the heck? I just hit that swing and it threw me out. That was funny. You try it in smaller gaps like this one. Oops. That was ugly. Oh, there's a nice big one right here. Throw a roll through here. All about cutting that throttle and making sure that you have it down until that roll's complete. Oh! Well, that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're able to take some of these tips and apply it to your sessions and enjoy your next flight. I'll see you guys on the next video.